Hello, dear friend. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share with you an idea that I had. Um, YouTube recommended a video to me, and it was all about this frequency called 528 hertz. And so I'm going to put a link below this video. You may find it interesting. It's quite a in-depth discussion of this different musical notes, and I have seen other ideas about this before. I even seen one where a person said that before the flood, before the days of Noah, that there was a vapor barrier over the earth, and it caused us to see the atmosphere a lot more different than we had today, and perhaps even that there was sound that came from space, that we could hear this beautiful music-like sound at a frequency that resonated with us and allowed us as human beings to live an extremely long time. Those pre-flood inhabitants of the earth, you hear them in the Old Testament living for hundreds of years, and as much as 900 years and so on. And so apparently before the flood, there was these beautiful colors in the atmosphere, kind of like what we would have today, the northern lights, or the aurora borealis, they call it. And so that was much more common, apparently. And these different ideas, it kind of sinks into what I saw in this video about 528 hertz. He's talking about that originally the way that the musical scale was understood, that the frequencies used were different than they are today. And then at a certain time in history, it's kind of a bit of a, you might say, a bit of a conspiracy theory, I suppose. But he's saying that how, with the introduction of rock music, that this frequency caused a lot of chaos and confusion and rioting. I think there was rioting a lot before that. We have rioting in biblical times. So I don't accept everything that he talks about in this video. Some of it you got to take with a grain of salt. It's very interesting ideas, though. But the thing that I did like was that I looked up some music and some background music that is played at 528 hertz, and I did find it to be very peaceful. And one piece in particular that he mentions is the hymn to St. John the Baptist. And so I'll include a link to that particular hymn. It kind of sounds like a Gregorian chant, if you're familiar with Gregorian chants. They're very soothing and harmonious. And so that might be something that brings peace to you. That's always been something that I've had a very hard time reconciling from the time that I became a Christian 30 years ago. And one of the first questions I asked my pastor at the time was, what do you think about rock music? At the time, the Eagles was one of my favorite groups. And he said, oh, that's all bad. You got to get rid of all that. That's really, really bad. And then shortly thereafter, in Christian community, it became popular was Christian rock music. Now, that's always been controversial. There were people back then that said, oh, it doesn't make sense. That's like Christian drugs, or that's like Christian, it's an oxymoron and so on. And so, but a lot of people adapted to it. A lot of people embraced it and said, oh yeah, Christian rock is great. And they had these bands like Striper and things like that. And Petra, and these bands became really popular, and they were performing this Christian rock music. And so that whole question of whether that music is simply a matter of personal taste, or is it actually something that can be affecting our spirits, something that's very a spiritual dynamic to it. I happen to think that I've never been able to reconcile it completely, because David praised the Lord with loud crashing cymbals and loud music and whatnot, and you've had all kinds of Christian groups that perform all variations of different kinds of music. I think it's mostly a matter of personal taste preference, because you can get a lot of Christian music that is very upbeat, up-tempo. However, I do believe that there is value, and there's something to be considered in these specific musical notes, for example, the 528 frequency, that are of interest, that when played, when you hear the rain, when the gentle rain is coming down, especially if you're inside, not if you're outside sitting in the rain, it's not very comfortable. But if you're in shelter, and you hear the gentle rain coming down, there's a soothingness to that frequency. And the sounds of nature, very often, the sounds of the forest, there's a soothing nature to it. And I believe there is something to it, to this peaceful, harmonious, um, very melodious, very soothing sounds. I mean, you can, just being straightforward, comparing it to some kind of, heavy metal, thrash metal, something really, really, you listen to that long enough, and it's like it'll drive you bonkers. So, and again, some people would even disagree with that. Some people would think that, oh, I listen to this heavy metal and it really relaxes me, or it really is soothing to me. And fair enough, if that's the case, fine. But maybe I'm displaying my age. But perhaps as I age, I'm tuning in more to softer and more nature-like sounds, more harmonious sounds. The sound of a bubbling brook in the forest, that frequency, I do believe that can have some type of calming, healing properties to it. The amount of that, I don't know. I mean, some people would think that it would say that it can heal our bodies, and it can heal us from all kinds of diseases and so on, as he mentions in this video that I'll link to. But I just thought I'd throw that out there because it was something that jumped out at me. It was a video recommendation that came up because I subscribed to that channel. And so I checked it out and I thought, well, that's pretty interesting. Again, there's a lot of ideas thrown in there. You might want to just double speed it. I think it's about a 20-minute video, but I'll link to it below and you can check it out and let me know what you think. And if there's anything to this 528 megahertz or not. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. And if anything, hopefully you can link to a couple of pieces of music that have that frequency, and that they'll be calming and comforting for you as background music while you study or while you read. So I'll leave that for you today, and I hope that's an encouragement to you. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. I love you very much. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're able to spend time with people that love you. I hope you're able to spend some time in nature. And yeah, just wishing blessings upon you. And thank you for watching so much. Have a great day. I love you very much. And take care of yourself. Be good. Get some fresh air, okay? We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye now.